Om Shanti. So, welcome all of you to the English Avyak Murli Reading Club. And for the next 3 days, we'll be reading this very powerful Murli, which is the basis of the Brahman life. Baba reminds us here that the basis of all the attainments, or the basis of attainments of all the experiences, is purity. And since it's a very lengthy Murli, let's deep dive into the Murli directly. I'll share the screen. The date is 25th of March, 1990. So I hope the screen is visible and it's all about purity. So today, Bap Dada, the ocean of love, is seeing the spiritual features of the spiritual children from all the four directions. There is spirituality in the features of every Brahmin child. It is in everyone's features, but it is number-wise because the basis of spirituality is purity. To the extent that there is the inculcation of purity in thoughts, words, and actions, accordingly, the sparkle of spirituality is visible on their face. The sparkle, the chamak in Hindi, of Brahman life is purity. And the more and more my thoughts, words, actions start becoming pure, that sparkle is revealed on the face. Purity is the main basis of this imperishable, that is constant, supersensuous happiness and of sweet silence. But purity is number-wise. And so the experiences of all these attainments are also number-wise. So in Hindi we can say Praptiyon ka Anubhav, which means the experiences of all these attainments. So why does it happen that someone is experiencing much more supersensuous happiness than I am? That is because of my level of purity, which may be less than the other one. So if purity is number one, the attainment you receive from Baba is also number one. And the constant sparkle of purity is then naturally visible on the face. The eyes with the spirituality of purity are constantly visible as clean and pure. And there is constantly the experience of the sparkle of the spiritual soul and the spiritual father in their eyes. So Baba is starting with the eyes. Today, Bab Dada is especially seeing the shine and sparkle of all the children, because the main basis is purity. And all of you can also see the features of your spiritual purity in the mirror of knowledge. Baba says, Gyan ke darpan mein, in the mirror of the knowledge, see your purity. Purity is not simply being brahmachari, that is practicing celibacy, but always brahmachari. So first thing is always sada and always a brahmachari. That is the one who follows the activity of the Father Brahma at each step. The step of one's thoughts, the step of one's words, and the step of one's actions will naturally be in the step of Brahma Baba's activity, which all of you call the footstep. Brahma Baba ke kadam. That's the famous 10 kadam or 14 kadam which we read in the month of January. So Brahma Baba's activity will be visible in your every footstep. It is not difficult to become brahmachari, but it is essential to check that you are a brahmachari with the steps of the mind, words, and actions. The face and activity of one who is a brahmachari are constantly experienced as being introverted and so in supersensuous happiness. Antarmukta and Atindriya Sukh. Such a brahmachari would always have. The power of their happiness and enjoyment is not based on the means of knowledge. So we'll try to understand. Baba saying, It's not only based on means of knowledge. Let's see what else it is based on. One is the means of science, and within Brahman life, there are the means of knowledge. A brahmachari soul is constantly happy, not on the basis of the means of knowledge, but he uses the means for a task in the form of a spiritual endeavor. So that means Baba is saying in Hindi, we could say not Gyani tu Atma, but it is Gyan Swarup. So, or being an embodiment of the point of knowledge, not just knowing the knowledge of the point of knowledge, not just knowing that, yes, like for example, I have to apply the full stop ASAP to any situation in my life. I know this knowledge point, but on the basis of knowing this point of knowledge, can I really apply it in any task when I need it? And here comes my effort. And here Baba is saying in the form of spiritual endeavor, Ruhani Purusharth, you can say. So such a soul does not make the means his support, but on the basis of his spiritual endeavor, he uses the means for a task. And this is why some Brahmin souls sometimes say they did not receive a chance, or they did not receive help from so and so in a particular aspect, or they did not receive this cooperation. And this is why their happiness reduced, or the zeal and enthusiasm for the self and for service reduced, or that they had that experience at first, nice experience when you're just new in knowledge. They experienced suprasentious happiness and also zeal and enthusiasm. They did not see anyone except Baba and the self. However, majority have a variety of experiences within 5 to 10 years. So I don't know, for some reason the sentences are not bit, um, they're not complete, but we can understand the meaning. Maybe there's some translation fault. So Baba's saying here that when we come into knowledge, the first few days, months, we have beautiful experiences. Oh, Baba, Baba, and nothing else. A lot of supersensuous happiness, a lot of zeal, enthusiasm. And it's that time we don't see anyone else. It's only Baba and me, right? Because we don't know anyone in the center. We don't know anyone in our vicinity. We don't know the other Brahmins. But as time passes, within the next 5 to 10 years, the experiences start becoming different. Baba's saying, what is the reason for this? There is the flying stage, isn't it? Isn't there? You're becoming experienced in this, aren't you? 10 years later, what should happen even in the Lokik world? Everything should increase. The experience increases. The zeal and enthusiasm of the first year should be 10 times greater. But what happens instead of this, and why does it happen? The reason for this is they do not use the means, the knowledge means, for a task while stabilizing themselves in the stage of spiritual endeavor. So bringing into action the point of knowledge is lacking, in short. They make one or another support the basis of their progress. Means they start relying on one another rather than we stray in Hindi, ek pal ek bharosa, one strength, one support of Baba. They start being dependent on some other souls. And when that support fluctuates, the zeal and enthusiasm also fluctuates. It is not a bad thing to take a support, but to make the support the foundation is why Baba is removed from in between, and then you make that support your foundation. And so, what is the fluctuation that takes place? Then we start speaking different sorts of vocabulary. Baba's mentioning those words. Oh, Baba, if it were like this would not happen. If I had this would not, this will happen. This is very essential. So then you begin to have such experiences which we should not be having. So there isn't a balance between the knowledge point and the spiritual endeavor. So the intellect is then drawn more towards the means and less towards the spiritual endeavor. And this is why you do not receive or experience Baba's blessings for any task or for any service. And because you do not have the experience of blessings, when you do have success through the means, there is good zeal and enthusiasm. But when there is less success, zeal and enthusiasm also decrease. So there is the means, which means the knowledge, and the spiritual endeavor, that is powerful remembrance. A constant relationship of the heart with the Father is called the spiritual endeavor. This spiritual endeavor is not simply sitting in yoga, but just as you sit with the body, in the same way the heart, the mind, and the intellect should sit facing the Father. So not only my mind and intellect, but the heart as well. They should sit with the Father, all these three. If the body is just sitting there and the mind is running in one direction, the intellect running in another direction, and something else is entering the heart, it is not called spiritual endeavor. All the four, now here's the force, the mind, intellect, the heart, and the body should sit together with the Father in a stage equal to the Father. So there's absolute focused concentration needed, whereby my mind, body, intellect, and the heart should be all one with the Father. And this is accurate spiritual endeavor. Do you understand? So if you are not able to make such accurate spiritual endeavor, what happens then? Do you know this? Then you start to pray. Then we come down, we move down the ladder actually. It's reverse direction we move. We should be coming from devotion to knowledge, but here we now shift from knowledge to devotion. You heard previously also that sometimes you remember Baba and sometimes you complain. It is not necessary to complain in remembrance. If I'm in a complaining mode, if I'm remembering Baba, it's not accurate remembrance. Like it reminds me yesterday's Sakar Murli Baba said that what is the accurate way to remember Baba? Don't think of him as an Akhand Jyoti, as an eternal light. No, it's a good thing. Baba is an eternal light in one way, but he's not as big as people think it to be. Akhand Mahajyoti. Maha means very big, very great light. No, Baba says, I am a tiny point, as you all souls are also. So if you can situate yourself in this tiny point of remembrance, it becomes easy for you to remember me. So same way Baba here, he says that you don't have to complain while remembering me. For those who make good spiritual endeavor, Baba is always their support, always. Wherever Baba is, the children there are always in flying stage. So if I'm coming down my flying stage, which happens, my stage fluctuates in the entire day, all the time, which shows I am not in a proper remembrance mode. Nothing will decrease. Instead, it will just keep increasing multifold. And when there is fluctuation, then there is tiredness. What happens when you sit on a place that shakes a lot? Do we like it? No. We say, oh, why is this shaky? So when you come here to Bharat, what is the train like? It shakes a lot, doesn't it? Then you arrive here tired. So just look at this light. When you look at a tube, the tube light, that fluctuates a lot, what happens? The eyes get tired, don't they? So sometimes you are up above, sometimes you come down. Sometimes you fly with a lot of zeal and enthusiasm, and sometimes you stay in between, and sometimes you come down. So Baba is saying the stages. So this is fluctuation, isn't it? And this is why you either become tired or you get bored. These two words, very simple English words. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm bored. So these two things happen, and then you think, do we have to continue in this way? But those who are constantly with the Father, through their spiritual endeavor experience, through their spiritual endeavor, experience everything to be new at the confluence age. So here also it's essential. Baba always keeps saying that let the newness in the Brahman life not disappear. Let everything, some or the other new point of knowledge, of yoga or dharana seva, whatever, let some newness emerge, because that newness will keep me properly on track of my spiritual effort. There is newness at every moment, newness in every thought. Why? Because there is the flying stage at every step. That is, there is attainment within attainment, so double attainment. So prapti me prapti. There is attainment at every moment. It isn't that when they came at the beginning, they received happiness, peace, bliss, and love, and that's all. They received everything. But at the confluence age, Baba gives you attainment within attainment at every moment in the form of an inheritance and blessings. So Baba is saying Varsa and Dua. These are the two attainments which are actually immersed or embedded in every attainment of ours. So basically we say that there are three main attainments: Gyan, Gun, Shaktiyan, that is knowledge, virtues and powers. These are the three attainments which we have, broadly speaking. But again, Samay, Shwas, Sankalp, Shakti, so your time, your thoughts, your breath, your powers, all these. So broadly we say that these are our attainments. But Baba is speaking here of having attainment in every attainment, which is very deep. And Baba explained here that every moment you're experiencing the flying stage, and it will be in the form of an inheritance and a blessing. And so, where there is this attainment within attainment, what happens to that attainment? There is happiness, isn't there? And what happens when there is happiness? The zeal and enthusiasm continue to increase. It is not possible for that to decrease. Even if Maya comes, there is the happiness of becoming victorious. So the zeal and enthusiasm cannot decrease, because you have now become knowledgeful of how to attain victory over Maya. So did you hear this? And so for those who are now 10 years old, it is 10 times as much. And for those who have been here for 20 years, it is 20 times as much. It is even greater, but you simply say this for the sake of saying it. In fact, it is multifold. So it is Padam Guna. We can't say 10 or 20, 10 or 20. So Baba is asking now, what will you do this year? Will you fluctuate? This is a Murli of March 1990. The season is ending of Baba Milan. Zeal and enthusiasm are your property, which you have received from the Father. You have made Baba's property belong to you. And so, what do you do with this property? The property of zeal and enthusiasm or happiness. Do you reduce it or do you increase it? Don't you? So this year, especially underline paying attention to 4 types of service. Baba is enumerating here. Initially mentioned the 4 aspects of concentration while remembering Baba. It is with the heart, the intellect, mind, and the body. And now he's saying about the 4 different types of service. Number 1 is the service of the self. Second is the service of the world. Third is serving through the mind. And the last one is service through words. But service through the mind is also very special. Sorry, I think the third is serving through the mind. So it's a service of through the mind and the words. And fourthly, it is the service of the yajna. So there would be some reason why Baba has divided like that. So serving the self, serving the world. Third is through the mind and words. And fourth is through the yajna. So wherever you may be, at whatever service place you may be, all the service places are the places where the sacrificial fire or yajna is created. It isn't that Madhuban is the only yajna and your places are not the yajna. So it's very important that though we say that our homeland is Madhuban for every Brahmin, but at every place wherever we are, whether it's a center, retreat center, big center, or a small Gita Pathshala, it is Baba's place, it is a yajna. And so to do the service of the yajna means to definitely do one or another service through actions. So Bap Dada keeps an account of all three types of service for all the children. So, and now here these three types are nothing but Mansa, Vacha, Karmana, service through the mind, words and actions, and Tan, Man, Dhan, body, mind and will. These are the 6 different ways we have to serve. Right? Tan, Man, Dhan, Mansa, Vacha, Karmana. Some Brahmins think that they are not able to become cooperative through wealth. They are not able to do such service because they are surrendered, and that they do not earn anything. And so how can they do it? So surrendered brothers and sisters, that's the limitation, because they are not earning. They have surrendered their life. They are not really doing any Lokik jobs. So Baba is saying that some souls think like that. But if a surrendered soul is economical in a task of the yajna, however economical he is through his own attention and his own effort, the money economized through his economy is accumulated in his account. So trying to just make sure, being very conservative in using things like in the unlimited Madhuban Yagya, when people come and give so many, say for example, wealth or whatever, someone gives a big load of truck of vegetables. So I as a Brahmin, as a surrendered Brahmin, for example, in Madhuban, if I make sure that whatever little bit remains, for example, I'll give you like while mm, cutting off the vegetables or trying to remove the weeds from the vegetables. You know, in India, it's very common. Abroad, this doesn't happen so much. Like the methi or the palak. These are the few green leaf vegetables, the spinach and methi, the fenugreek. So, Mama's times, it used to be like that, that I think it was Kunj Dadi. She shares this experience usually that Mama, she told her once that why don't you go and sift, I mean, try to sort out spinach or try to sort out methi, fenugreek. So what she used to do that Kunj Dadi, the big ones she used to remove, the big and the good ones she used to remove, and the little bit spoiled ones she used to just discard them. So when she went and showed Mama, it was almost 1/4 of that entire bundle was fully gone into the waste, and only 3/4 was there. So Mama said, "Okay, get the other one." So Kunj Dadi said, "Oh, that is not good. We have to discard that. How can we eat that?" So Mama showed her that even from that, whatever 1/4 of the bundle which she had kept aside for discarding, she said, "See, this is still good here, good here." So from that 1/4, the half almost Mama showed her how to use it. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. So this is just one way. Example. There are many other examples. Even if I'm just friendly, environment friendly in the sense energy friendly. If I'm seeing in Madhuban in the dining hall or somewhere, the fan is just going on and no one is sitting beneath the fan, so it's energy waste. So even if I can do that little bit from my side, which we do at homes, don't we? If you're not sitting in your room, you switch off the light, switch off the fan. So this way, if I can economize through my this sanskar of economy, Baba is saying you're accumulating in your account, serving through wealth. So this is a very subtle account. Whilst, excuse me, whilst if someone creates loss, there is a burden accumulated in his account. And if someone is economical, then there is wealth accumulated in his account. And Baba has told you about this account previously also. Every grain of the yajna is equal to a sovereign. Every grain. They say in Hindi, kana dana. Kana and dana means the smallest grain or the seed of the whatever grains we are eating is very important. If someone is economical for the yajna, not just for showing to others, but from their own heart, he continues to accumulate sovereignty or sovereign, which means he can become a Raja. And secondly, if a surrendered soul inspires others to make their money successful through service, even then he accumulates a share through that also. So first is through my sanskar of economy, and second is through my inspiring other souls. And this is why everyone has these three types of accounts: tan, man, dhan, body, mind, and wealth. And through the mind, words, and actions, that is mansa, vacha, karmana. So the percentage of all these three accounts should be good. Some think that because they are very busy in service through words and their duty is of service through words, they can only have a smaller percentage in service through the mind and actions. But Baba is strictly saying that this excuse will not do. That I'm only good in serving by giving knowledge through my mouth. No. You have to equally do mansa and karmana as well. What will be the result if at the time of service through words, you do service through words and service through the mind together? So there is obviously double attainment. So can you not do service through the mind and words together? So we're having 18 pages. So I think this is sixth, which I have started on. It will be seventh. Yeah. So we'll read this from tomorrow. We'll stop here. That now Baba is giving us an example. He started the conversation about how to serve at the same time through all the six ways: body, mind, and wealth, and mind, words, and action, or thoughts, words, and actions. So I'll stop sharing the screen and spend a moment in silence and then start sharing. Thank you. You can start sharing.
Shanti. So Baba highlighted the foundation of purity, or the spirituality is purity. So the basis is purity. So purity means the words and the thoughts, words, and action all should be that that brings. It is based on the purity that we all experience, the super senses that happiness, Baba says. And also said that purity is not just about being celibate or brahmachari. It is also brahmachari. That means following the footsteps of Brahma Baba. Yeah, Om Shanti. Thank you.
Om Shanti Manoj. I want, before I go to the Murli, you spoke about economy I remember a perfect example in Dadi Prakash Mani. Like, they have these specialities and all. From the time she took over from the Brahma Baba, her thing was called as even as Bandhutva Divas, but they called it Yagya Snehi and Yagya Rakshak. So that was a very important part for her. And I remember in those days, even when parties used to come and all, and when water was very less and all, she used to literally explain how to wash the clothes, how to use less water, and what to do with that water. So that kind of thing. So that doesn't mean she was not generous enough. She was frock drill. I mean, both very giving everyone everything. But I remember these small things which she used to really speak about it and share in the yagya. That yagya snehi and how she took call of the yagya rakshak. And even she taught us, when this Gyan Sarovar was built, it was very simple. She said, one person, 1 rupee, 1 day. That's what we have to do. That's how that Dani thing even she taught. So there were many more examples. I can't immediately bring it to light. But she also was the economy ki avatar or that Sneh of Yagya. And the way, like a mother, she used to tell. So if you remember also something of Dadi Prakash Mani, like you remembered of other Dadis, it would be nice. Manojbhai, could you throw some light on this means and spiritual endeavor? You said means is knowledge. So here when Baba spoke about all the four, the mind, intellect, the heart, and the body should sit together, that they say is in spiritual endeavor. But what is this connection between means and spiritual endeavor? And he says there should be a relationship between both. How do we maintain that relationship between means and spiritual, a balance between the means and spiritual endeavor? If you could just throw a little more light on it, please.
So, as we speak, I'm just trying to look at, I don't know whether this translation is correct or not, but as I just go through that, just to take a minute. Yeah, but I felt today's Sakar Murli's blessing is about, we'll be listening it to later, about sadhan and sadhana. So it's again about the means which we have. Whatever we have is basically sadhan, all the gadgets, etc., so on and so forth. Whereas sadhana is basically my spiritual effort, spiritual endeavor. So let me just go to 1919, the Hindi version, because I don't want to unnecessarily give you a wrong meaning according to what Baba is saying. Just hold on. Yeah, here it is. So, mhm. So Baba is saying here about, actually, it's the same thing when mentioned here. Okay, so I don't know where it started from, whether it was, but it is okay. So basically, Baba is saying here, ha, Gyan ke sadhan, here he is saying. Now I realize. Yeah, it's correct. So what I said was correct. So I'll just read it in Hindi. एक है साइंस के साधन and Brahman जीवन में है ज्ञान के साधन. So whatever different aspects of knowledge we have. And one example I told you that time was that just knowing merely the point of knowledge in my intellect is not going to help me. I have to use that point, as Baba said, in the task, whatever task or whatever action we are performing, we should be able to use that knowledge point. So when Baba goes on to say, तो ब्रह्मचारी आत्मा साइंस के साधन व ज्ञान के साधन पर आधार ज्ञान के साधन के आधार पर सदा सुखी नहीं होते. So like again, he's giving us an example here of a point of knowledge of science. So if I know, like, good, I know that a mixer, juicer, mixer, grinder, for example, I give this example always. So I know a mixer grinder does its job, a fantastic job of making chutney in a second, right? Or maybe in a minute. I just know it, but I myself don't know how to use that knowledge, juicer, mixer, grinder. So why I give this example, it can become a disaster if while I'm putting the button on and switching the power on and trying to go up to 1, 2, and 3, if I don't apply the lid properly and don't hold it properly, the mixer grinder, everything will splash on my face and it can really actually create an accident. So same thing, if I know that the point of knowledge, Baba said, I gave you an example that nothing new. I know this point in the path of knowledge. I know that I should be able to apply full stop in a second. But if I'm not able to do that, if I'm not able to use those knowledge points, then I won't be able to experience suprasensory happiness or zeal and enthusiasm. तो इस अगेन ही गोज ऑन टू से साधनों को भी अपनी साधना के स्वरूप में कार्य में लाना. सो सेम थिंग, द साधन एंड द साधना. लेट माय whatever means and support and all these systems which help me, let they be there, but most important is my remembrance, accurate remembrance for Baba. So that's what is difference between me, sadhana, and sadhan, the means and the spiritual effort or endeavor. It could be,
Yeah, because
yeah,
why
sorry.
I asked, yeah,
Go ahead, go
why
ahead.
I why I asked you, see, even I have only read in the Murlis like sadhan and sadhana. Sadhan is the support system, the facilities, and Baba says nothing wrong, take use of it, but you should not totally depend on it because it can fluctuate. Like if it fluctuates, that means your spiritual endeavor, your principle will not be held clear. Like here, even he says, just sitting in yoga is not spiritual endeavor. You've got all facilities in the room, you've got a tape recorder, you've got this, and then you say, I was in that room and I was sitting in yoga. That's just a support system. But when you're sitting there, the spiritual endeavor is when your heart, your mind, and your intellect is facing with the Father and with the Father. This is what I understood. That's why I remember only sadhana and sadhana. The word means was different for me. So I think the same thing is trying to put down over here what is spiritual endeavor, and you related it to a point of knowledge. Okay, thank you.
Om Shanti. So Baba also said about some causes that the fluctuation that happens. So either due to some tiredness or we get bored or and this journey some will lose that enthusiasm and we get too much busy with something else, right? So and then so here, of course, we need to find new ideas and, new ways to keep up the enthusiasm, right? And also that zeal and enthusiasm should be there all the time. So, so that newness, one method is, I think, in last 2 days back, there was a Murli that we read. So that was all about the zeal and enthusiasm. So there, Baba was saying to read find new points in every day's Murli and then going with it. So I have this question to you, Manoj. So, how do you really keep up the zeal and enthusiasm all the time? Because it's not constant all the time, the same pace. Sometimes it is high, sometimes it is low. Okay, sometimes that fluctuation happens. So it's not always the flying stage. So how do you really create that flying stage all the time?
Yeah, so again, easier. Your questions can be very tough, Vijit Bhai, because all of us go through that. So though I may be able to answer that, but whether I'm able to do that for myself, I don't know. I have to keep doing it. So Baba mentioned that one word, newness. So when I can experience newness in everything, every moment, whatever I'm doing, my every thought, my every word and action. So if I can just give you an example, like things happen in life up and down, you never know. Every day is so different. Uh, like today, sorry, I don't know, I'm not ready. I mean, obviously, I have to be ever ready, but I'm not prepared. Like if I go across and this happened with me quite a few times. Like I have two cars, so I usually take the smaller one uh, for my city drive to the hospital where I'm attached to, etc. So one day, uh, what happened is like I had a flat tire, a puncture. And then, is there any point getting irritated? Oh, why this? And then I had to travel with my bigger car, and then the parking space in the hospital is limited, blah, blah, all that. So then, just sitting now, since you've asked me this question, so if this happens with me again, can I create a thought, a newness in my thought that instead of getting irritated and losing my zeal and enthusiasm, let me just say that there is some good in this thing as well. Like there is something good. Maybe I haven't driven the new car for the not the new, the bigger car for a longer time, so might as well just use that. This is just a small thing. So same thing in our life when anything up and down. See, because normally when uh, things are stable, like there's no challenge in the atmosphere, everything is going on nice and rosy in life. My zeal and enthusiasm usually remains static, not very high in the flying stage, but I'm okay. But when anything up and down happens, can I consider that up and down stage basically a boon in one way, a blessing from me, from Baba, not from Baba or for drama, that I consider that to be a stepping stone for experiencing the flying stage. So you can put it another way, like consider every stopping stone to be a stepping stone, and that's a beautiful way to rhyme it. So I feel that so such and such soul in life, in my Brahman life, alaukic life, or laukic life is an obstacle for me. That person, he just presses wrong buttons. You know what I'm saying. That whenever that person comes in front of me, I really create a wrong thought inside because of my past experiences in my memory track, whatever would be the reason. So, can I really create a new thought for that soul every time I meet him or her? And this way. So, I just give you an example of a situation of a person. So, it's just trying to create newness in every moment, in every thought, and about every situation. And you're welcome. Others also, there are almost eight others of you all. You all can feel free to share what you all feel about as well for this question.
Just to add to what you said, Manoj Bhai, as I said, just the previous Murli, Baba very clearly explained about this zeal and enthusiasm. He said, you have wings, you are flying, you've got lot of zeal, but you become tired. But keep this in your mind, the elevated aim, the destination, the lovely destination, the experience of Father's love. He said, all this, if you remember, even if your scooter or anything is wrong, suddenly you'll just raise it and say, yes, this is what gives me. And you'll start flying away. No matter obstructions will stop you. Even you think it's difficult, it's better I go back to the past life. I cannot go forward like this over here. There is no more zeal and enthusiasm. Immediately, what you should do? you bring in front of you God's love and love of beings. So Baba was saying it happens in your life. You're in a standstill, you're in front of two roads. Should I go there? Should I go there? Just God's love will revive confused people. So that was a very nice Murli where he said, you will feel you are in a stagnant stage, but then you'll go to the flying stage. And in the end, at the end of the Murli, he gives a very nice, he's saying, now Brahma Baba is there with you. He is ready to see what he'll not say too late and all. But when the time comes, you cannot give any excuses. He is not going to wait even a second. He'll just fly off. So if I do not cultivate that zeal and enthusiasm in that end, I cannot go with. That was a very striking point he gave in the end, which it's like a warning. Okay, thoda zeal, and but if you keep all these things, whether in meditation or whether in maybe we can get a pickup and go up. That's why I'm just quoting from that Murli. Om Shanti.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think it's very important, right, to keep up that zeal and enthusiasm so that the Brahmin life we feel so interesting and then every day new things. Yes. So this, I think this will really help us to, keep do more Purusharth. Otherwise, doing the same thing, this is how I feel it. Uh, Doing the same method, applying the same method every day or 1 or 2 days, we feel it, it gets bored and then the same method seems doesn't work. We feel sleepy doing it the same way. So finding new methods every day sometimes find it difficult. Yeah. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, so if all is good and all sharing's done, we'll just and Vinod Bhai is just sharing that revisit the points which we have written previously by our own self will also help you to sustain your zeal and enthusiasm. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's remain in silence and then exit. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Manoj Bhai. Thank you, Divine Family. We'll connect again tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, or have a good day.